Namaskaram and good evening. I'm Arjun, or you can call me Justin. Before I get into it, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. I hope I make a good video that resonates with y'all, and I wish you many blessings. Also, please subscribe, like it, give a thumbs up, share it, make a comment, or leave a comment. That really helps me out. I really, really appreciate that. So today, I'm just going to do a real quick rundown of what I always advise everybody, patients, friends, whomever, that, what y'all need to really focus on with your healthcare. And I've already touched on this many times, but it's just worth reiterating. So we have to think of total health, all right? And that's mind, heart, body, spirit. And I talk about that axis, AXIS. And those things need to be in harmony. There needs to be homeostasis or balance, right? So even the spiritual component, if you are atheist or agnostic, you usually believe in something, you're just not quite sure what it is. But even if you're atheist, think of the spiritual component as two things. For yourself, the micro, the individual, your intuition. Okay, that is connected to the second thing, which is something that is bigger than yourself. Like whether it's just random, evolution of just scientific processes, right? That led us to this planet being habitable and, evolution taking place, from single cell organism all the way up to us human beings. So whatever it is, just think of that. That's the spiritual component that I'm speaking of. All of those things need to be, again, in alignment. Some people might need to focus more on the psychological issues, the mind and the heart, or the intellectual issues, and, getting educated, studying, learning, right? And then some people need to focus more on the body, medical stuff, right? And some more the spiritual. Now, in Ayurveda and a lot of other more like ancient forms of medicine and healthcare, though all those things are intertwined, right? And someone's natural disposition or constitution might mean they have to focus more in certain areas than other people do. So homeostasis doesn't look completely even across the board for everybody. That's where one thing like Western, like for instance, like blood work, we have this general range of where things should lie. Whether it's like calcium levels or thyroid hormone levels, all those things, right? But not even within that, that's not always like a guarantee that you're healthy or you have some kind of pathology going on. That's not always the best indicator, and that's why there's different ranges depending on the resources that you're using. So there's that. But I think it's a little bit too limiting. It's great to have. I'm not saying blood work is all BS and Western standards of measurement. No, not at all. But I think we're missing so much of that spiritual component. And then we don't take in all the psyche and the intellect. And a lot of people who are not specialists in psychiatry, psychology, mental health will, refer out to a mental health care specialist. And granted, having specialists is useful, right? But it's a little bit, as Dr. Shiva would say, a reductionist approach. 50 years ago, it wasn't uncommon for pediatricians and PCPs to be practicing like all sorts of medicine, and vice versa. But now it's really restrictive, and some ways I understand why. In other ways, I'm like, that we're creating too many silos here, and we're so disconnected. Because as much as people like to boast about integrative, team-based approach care, I can't talk. I have not been drinking. Today's a big day in Hinduism. Shani Dev or Saturn is moving into Pisces, and there's all these other alignments going on. And it's almost kind of like a new year. So, and it's Hanuman's Day, so, I try to keep it pretty tame, but I just can't talk, and I got gum in my mouth. It's probably not helping. It is what it is. So just calm down at Lily Hart Bishop. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a random username. So a lot of people like to boast that they like integrative, team-based approach care. They like to network or, work with a patient or client's other providers. That rarely happens. Rarely happens. So rare. I know from personal experience and hearing other people talk too, most people don't even and this is another flaw in the system, most providers don't do that. Where I really try to do that. It's just hard for them to get those other providers to call me back. And just a tangential sidebar that really grinds my gears, because some of these patients have multiple comorbidities, like multiple diseases or diagnoses going on, seeing like 3, 5+ different providers, specialists, and they're on like 10, 15, or up to 20 different medications and stuff. I'm just like, what is going on here? Nobody's talking to each other, and no one should be on that many medications unless they're severely ill. And we shouldn't be raising the bar of what severely ill means so it encompasses more and more. That's not okay either. So anyways, step away from that. Go back to the original topic. Ayurveda is really good at focusing on that axis of all these different components of the self. So that's very important. And I also want to include financial health, financial professional health. Some people will laugh at me because they think that maybe I don't really prioritize that or honor that, because I'm a Hindu and I believe in doing what is dharmic first. That is not true. It's just, it is necessary for us to have income and money in this world. It is. It sucks, but that's how it goes. And, it's artha in Hinduism is like the necessities and, like money and housing and food and all clothing and all that. So it is necessary to focus on that, but there's a certain prayer to Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, remover of obstacles, the Lord of beginnings. And it says, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Savindari. And that is, Dharma is first. Then Artha, then Kama, which is like the joys, the luxuries, the ecstasies, of life. Not necessarily smacks, okay? Calm down. All right? Calm down, dude. It's okay. So, and then moksha is liberation. So through focusing on Dharma, you focus on the other things too, but through that lens of Dharma, you should be working it from that perspective, from that lens. And financial health is very important. But so many people these days focus on that. They focus first on Artha and Kama. So the money, the necessities in life, and then joy and fun and the luxuries. And then they lose all not just sense of Dharma, but some people their spiritual health suffers, or even their physical health suffers, or their emotional or psychological health suffers because they're working for that. That is their primary goal, and they let all these other things slide. So in my opinion, it's no wonder there's so many problems. Even if someone's got a lot of money and they work out, but they're working for that money and that lifestyle, they have so many problems. I can't tell you people who live in expensive neighborhoods, and have 6-7 digit figure income or above. I've seen them personally and professionally. They all got problems. They got a lot of problems. They're just better at covering it up. to be honest, than more like socio-economic struggling populations. They're just better at covering it up. That's it. So, and it's a lot of it's appearances. Just like if you're growing up in a rough way, a rough neighborhood, you got to act tough and sometimes loud and sometimes defensively, or sometimes like you just don't give an F, right? So everybody's got problems, and they all have health problems of all sorts, right? Psychological, emotional, physical, spiritual, they all do. So I tell people we got to focus on that first, and then the next things that you have to focus on with your treatment, like, again, this isn't tailored fit, medical advice. Please work with your medical healthcare team. If you don't like them, try to find other ones that you do want to work with and transition over to them. Don't just stop whatever you're doing, like, because I don't know what y'all are doing, and I don't know ya. So just keep it together, yeah. I don't know why I'm doing that, but just be careful about stopping things and transitioning over to another treatment plan or provider. Okay? Just use common sense. But the next thing is, so your treatment plan, whatever they're telling you how to do it, please do it. If you don't like it, work with them. But then you need to focus on sleep hygiene. You need to focus on exercise, whatever that looks like for you and your ability, your capability. Then you need to focus on your diet and nutrition. Then you need to focus on stress reduction techniques, mindfulness, whatever it is. You need to have a routine that you can live by to keep all these things in check, that make sure that you keep doing them. And then you also need to focus on your social health, right? However that looks. I'm not saying if you want to be solo most of the time, that's fine, but you still live in a world with people, so you still need to know how to interact with them. And it's not a bad thing to have some level of social networking and friendship or partnerships with other people. That's a good thing, even if you are an introvert or you just want to be left alone. Okay? That's still a good thing to practice that. You got to do some form of therapy probably as well, whether it's individual, couples, families, faith-based, whatever it is. All right? That's also important. And that's where you're going to learn a lot of other like stress reduction and mindfulness techniques, or tools to add to the toolbox for the problems that you have been facing or frequently face. So those things, you really need to work on those and incorporate those. I still struggle with some of those aspects. Trust me, I do. But we just keep at it, right? No one's going to be perfect. All right. So you might have to do trial and error, but don't give up. Just keep one foot in front of the other. Keep your eye on the prize, and that is, I want to get healthier, but I want to also step into my higher self, so then I have holistic, total, complete health. Okay? I wish you all the best. I truly do. I'm keeping this a little shorter, so I'm going to end it now. But again, thank you for watching the videos and all that. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get it out to as many people as I can. I wish you true healing and true joy on your journeys. I truly do. Till the next time, take care.